We have a very exciting topic as you know the weather outside today is absolutely fantastic here, at least in New Jersey, getting us all inspired and ready for what is summer to come. And with summer comes travel, comes potential cruises and different things. And only 15% of people have actually cruised, which is fascinating to me. I've actually never been on a cruise, so I'm one of the 85%. So I'm definitely interested in learning some things today. But today we have an expert in cruise travel, Lisa. She's a travel agent, again, specializing specifically with cruise vacations. She's got over 25 years of personal cruising experience and have helped countless others experience that as well. Her passion for travel, meticulous planning, led her to this industry where she now helps others create unforgettable cruise adventures with ease and confidence. She is also an expert in Disney travel. She created and manages a Facebook group that now has over 43,000 members to help support families traveling to Disney, especially with kiddos, because that is always a fun and interesting dynamic when you
Mm.
add kids to the equation. Lisa, thank you for joining us, and I'm just going to display our intro slide here. Planning your dream cruise is what we're going to be talking about today. You can see our disclosure and contact information there if interested. But Lisa, now I'm going to throw it over to you.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I'm so looking forward to talking about one of my absolute favorite types of way to travel, which is cruising. So, I have been cruising personally for over 25 years. I started young and we're still going strong on cruises. It has been an absolute love of mine. I think cruises offer so much to everyone. So, regardless what kind of traveler you are, there is a perfect cruise for you. So today we're going to talk about the kinds of cruises that I book for all my different clients because everyone is looking for something different. And I promise you, there is something for everyone. It is an amazing way to travel, to relax, to see the world, whatever you want it to be. It is incredible. So just give me a moment. I'm going to pull up some great information to help us dive into the world of cruising. All right. So
And as
let's
you pull that up, I'll let you concentrate on pulling up the things because I know it
perfect.
can be doing like daunting talking and trying to work with
Yes.
technology at the same time. We will have a Q&A at the end. So definitely as questions pop up, drop them into that Q&A feature there, and we'll be able to address those at the end. Also, what this presentation is not is this is not a sales presentation. It's not a timeshare presentation. This is like education for, what is potential for cruises and how you can enjoy your time there and maximize value there. So that's why I wanted to make sure to bring Lisa on so that she could give you, this information in like a no pressure situation, just looking at what, cruising can do for you and your family.
Perfect. So, Justin, let me know. Are you able to see the first image?
Yep, we're all good.
Perfect. All right. Okay, everyone, let's dive into cruises. So, they are incredible. As I've already said, I want to talk about all the different kinds, everything you could do on board, all the places you can go. It is truly amazing. So, let's get right into it. So, as Justin said, it is something that the majority of people have not yet experienced. So, only 15% of the US population has been on a cruise. So, there is a giant market that is untapped, but as we'll see, those numbers are going to shift in the coming years. So let's talk about why cruising is so amazing, why I love it, why my clients love it, what is so great about it, what can you do? So the best part of cruising is it is stress free. You just show up, you unpack, and you are done. There's no more packing to do. So if you have certain destinations that you kind of want to hop around, especially in cities that are close to each other, like Europe, that's a fantastic place to cruise because there is so much in such a small, compact area. With cruising, you just get on board, unpack your suitcase, and you are done. There's no checking in and out of multiple hotels. There's no catching a train ride to go see this city and then catching a flight to go see that city. You are done. So that is amazing that your vacation starts the second you step on that ship. So also in the cost of your cruise, there's so much bundled in that once you step foot on that ship, you could not spend another penny. So, in your cruise cost is your accommodations, your dining, your entertainment, and transportation from one destination to the other. So, to consider it an all inclusive vacation, you could not spend a penny and everything would be covered, and you would not go a minute needing something to do because everything is there. And we're going to talk about some of the amazing dining and entertainment that's available on these ships in a little later on in the slides. So, another great part of cruising is that you could go anywhere in the world. We'll discuss some of the amazing places that are really popular right now, but just know that the world is your oyster and you could go anywhere and you'll be amazed to find out some of the places that cruise ships go. You might be surprised. And then another great reason why we love cruising, me and my clients, is that it's great no matter how old you are. So, like I said, I've been cruising for over 25 years. So, I started cruising as a teenager. I'm no longer a teenager. I still love it. And all the reasons why I love cruising changes through the years. But just like anyone who goes on a cruise, there's something for everyone. From infants as old as 6 months, that's the youngest that you're allowed on a cruise ship, all the way up to celebrating a 100th year old birthday. There's something for everyone. And we're going to get into that in a little bit. So that's just an overview of why cruising is so spectacular. So, a little bit about the cruise industry, you'll see that the popularity is growing. So, last year there were 34.6 million cruisers worldwide. That number is expected to grow to 42 million plus in just a few short years. So, that is huge growth in the cruise industry, and that is due to ships being launched every year. There's definitely a competition in the industry of who's going to make the newest and greatest ship. So ships are coming out constantly. Every year there are new ships launching, and these ships are sailing at capacity. So it's not like these ships are coming out and they're sitting empty. These ships are full. So the industry is just making ships as fast as they can. These ships are so large, some of them, that it takes years from concept to completion. So that's why we see these cruise lines are just trying to churn out these ships, but there's only a few shipyards in the world that can create these cruise ships because they are so complex. And you'll see what's on some of these ships. So there's only a few cruise yards in the world that can make these ships. So every year they are just churning out these cruises. So this is an industry that is growing because the demand is really taking off. So, cruising has in the past, I'll say, had some stigmas of who it was for. It was considered a luxury vacation where a lot of people felt they were priced out and just not in their vacation budget. So, that stigma is certainly not true. Another stigma is that it was considered for the retiree crowd, and that was who took cruises. That is no longer true because now we are seeing a huge, huge uptick in Gen Z and millennials. Gen Z and millennials are the largest segment that they've seen an increase in their first time cruisers, and so because of that, cruise lines are shifting their itineraries around. We're seeing a shift in a lot more 3 and 4 night cruises as kind of a way to wet your feet and to try cruising. It's not a full week commitment, but it's enough to kind of test at the waters and see if cruising is the right vacation for you. So we're seeing a lot of 3 and 4 night cruises because of our clients wanting to try it out but not ready to commit. So that's a nice way to kind of ease into cruising. So we're seeing that. We're also seeing a work from sea experience being offered by some cruise lines where they are bundling month-long cruises that include Wi-Fi and pricing it very, very economically for considering how long the cruise is, where people are just working on cruise ships. So they work 9 to 5, and when work is over, they're enjoying the shows, they're enjoying the live entertainment, they're enjoying everything the ship has to offer. So we're seeing that too. And cruising now for multi generational families is huge because these ships have so much to offer. There's something for your toddlers up to your grandparents. So there's something for everyone. And another market that we're seeing huge growth in is solo travelers. So cruise lines are now creating cabins specifically designed for one guest, which is great because prior, one guest traveling alone would have to pay for two. Cruises are priced for two in a room. So now that specific rooms are being created for solo travelers, it's a great way and a more affordable way for solo travelers to cruise. So now let's talk about the different cruise lines and what they offer, because as I mentioned, there is something for everyone. So this is just a glimpse at some of the cruise lines we're going to talk about. And now let's start talking about them. So, family friendly cruising. My personal top recommendations are going to be Disney Cruise Line, Royal Caribbean, and Carnival Cruise Line. These ships have it all. So, their kids' clubs are spectacular. They even have nurseries for babies. So, starting from 6 months and up, kids can enjoy these facilities. And that way, if adults want to get away from maybe an adult only dinner or maybe catch a show with just, a date night out. So these ships are offering that. These ships also have some of the most spectacular amenities that you will find because these ships are the largest in the industry. You'll see pictured here is a photo from Royal Caribbean. They have on certain ships, they have what's called the Aqua Theater, where they are performing a aqua show complete with acrobatics and diving, and it is just the most spectacular show. You will not believe that it is on a cruise line. If anyone here has traveled to Las Vegas and seen the Cirque du Soleil show, it's very similar to that concept. And then also you'll see photographed is the first roller coaster at sea, and this is found on Carnival Cruise Lines. So these ships, they have everything on board in addition to the standard cruise entertainment that we'll talk about in a little bit. These mega ships have everything for everyone in your family. So you will never go bored. Then another type of cruise is luxury and upscale cruises. These do tend to attract clients starting age 40 and up. Usually we see this. We don't see a lot of kids on these kind of cruises. So this is a much more refined experience. This is the kind of experience that resembles a yacht-like experience. The crew to guest ratio is much higher here, so it's usually like a 1-to-1 ratio, as opposed to the mega ships are more of 3 passengers to 1 crew member. So the service on these ships is impeccable. They also do tend to include more, so many times you'll find that alcohol is included on a luxury cruise. Shore excursions are included on a luxury cruise. Exquisite Michelin level dining is included on a luxury cruise. So these cruises are for clients who want the best. They want a true five-star experience. They want a small ship experience. They do not want to be on a ship with thousands of other guests. They want to be on a ship with just a few hundred guests. So these ships are very upscale and truly for the most demanding client. And then some of the best cruise lines in this industry are going to be Viking Cruises, which they specialize in river cruises and they are adults only. So we'll talk about some cruise lines that are adult only. So again, something for everyone. And Silver Sea and Regent are also fantastic cruise lines. Another type of cruise is the adventure and exploration industry. So these are the cruises that go to the far-fetched corners of the world. So on these cruises, you can visit the Galapagos Islands, you can visit Antarctica. These are ships that are specially designed for this type of climate. So they are built with icebreakers in the hull. So you'll see that these are very specific ships. They're exploration ships. Some of the cruise lines are Lindblad, which partnered with National Geographic, Hurtigruten, and Ponant. These are your fantastic cruise lines to see the parts of the world that you never knew you could visit. Who knew you could go to Antarctica? And now let's talk about budget friendly and social cruising. So, this is your cruise where you are looking to get away and you'd like to do it for as little as possible. These are fantastic cruise lines. They pack a punch for what you get. The value is truly amazing on these cruise lines. So, the best options here are going to be Carnival and MSC. They have incredible pricing for everything that is included. A social cruise line is Virgin Voyages. They are relatively new to the cruise industry. They are part of Virgin Airlines. So they entered the cruise industry just a few years ago and they really shook it up. They are an adults only cruise line. They minimized many upcharges that you find on mass market cruise lines. And they are a party cruise line. They are all about having a good time. Just like all of these cruise lines, you will find a very lively atmosphere on these cruise lines and they are great for anyone looking to have fun, anyone looking for the best value for their dollar. These are going to be the cruise lines. And then another type of cruise is a cultural and educational cruise. So these cruises really focus on enrichment classes. So you'll see that on this type of cruise, the port time is longer. Instead of being in port for maybe 8 hours, you're in port for 10, 12 hours. It really allows you to dive into your destination. These cruise lines also bring on local speakers and local experts from the area who really know what they're talking about. So you'll see a lot of this in Alaska. They'll bring on locals to discuss the wildlife, to discuss the heritage. So these are cruises where the focus is learning and really, really diving deep into where you're cruising. So Viking again is fantastic at this. They're adults only. Azamara and Oceania, also incredible cruise lines who really the focus is on the itinerary and less of the ship. So let's talk about some of the great places that you can visit on a cruise. So the cruise ships, they go all around the world. So let's talk about some of the amazing destinations you can go to. So most popular is going to be the Caribbean. This is where we find our mega ships located. Florida is the most popular state for cruises, and the Port of Miami is the busiest port for cruise ships. So in the Caribbean, you're likely going to leave from Florida. However, there you can also leave from Texas, you can leave from New Jersey, you can leave from Baltimore, Boston. So there's a lot of different ports that you can get to the Caribbean from, but Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Orlando are going to be the most popular. So in the Caribbean, of course, it's all about the sun, beaches, and crystal clear waters. Another popular location for summer cruising, especially, is the Mediterranean. And those cruises, you'll find a focus on history, culture, and the beautiful coastlines and the beautiful water views. Also very popular for summer cruising and also very popular for family cruising is Alaska. So this is a destination that has taken off in the last few years. Alaska used to be considered a destination for retirees and it's no longer considered that. Alaska is booming for families because there is so much for the whole family to enjoy. The focus on wildlife is incredible with kids. Kids love all the different shore excursions. So there's salmon fishing, there is a lumberjack show, there's a lot for kids to do. And originally, it wasn't always thought of as a destination for families, but it absolutely is. And of course, the beautiful scenery with the glaciers. Northern Europe is also a great place that we're seeing an uptick in cruising because of the beautiful castles, the towns, and the fjords. So Norwegian cruising is really, really popular now. And then also a longer flight for those of us in the US, Asia cruises have also taken off. A lot of cruise lines are now putting ships in Asia where they previously didn't have a market. So in Asia, we're seeing cruises to Thailand, we're seeing Singapore, we're seeing Japan, we are seeing cruising all over Asia with the beautiful history that they have there, and of course, the cuisine and the culture. The South Pacific is also an incredible destination that you can cruise to. So we're seeing Tahiti and all of the beautiful, beautiful islands and the beautiful scenery in the South Pacific. Australia, New Zealand has also seen a big uptick in cruise ships. That's another area of the world where we didn't have a lot of ships sailing, and the cruise lines are now sending more ships there because that market is really growing. And that's a huge bucket list trip for those of us in North America to take that trip and I'll see so much of that part of the world with, again, just getting on that ship and sailing. So you'll find that a lot of Australia cruises are longer because they will visit many different ports. So that's a great way to see so much of the world in a very effortless way. And then lastly, we touched on Antarctica. So these cruises are also growing in popularity because people want to do something that's different. And going to Antarctica is certainly one of them. So this is going to be expedition style cruising with cruise ships specifically designed for this climate. So you won't find a ship that's in the Caribbean head down to Antarctica because they're simply not designed for it. So let's talk about what you can do on board and why people love cruising. So cruise ships are true cities at sea. So they have anything you could want. You will never be bored on a cruise ship. And the best part is it's all there. So all you need to do is run from your cabin on deck 4, just go up 2 decks and you're at the pool. So that's the convenience of it, is everything is there. You are no more than a flight of stairs or an elevator ride away from anything you could possibly want to do. So let's talk about what's on cruises, because if you've never cruised before, you will be amazed at what you can do and find on a cruise ship. So as far as entertainment goes, there are Broadway level shows that you can view. Royal Caribbean has a contract where they actually have the full Broadway musical of several shows that have completed their run on Broadway that are now on the ships. And it is the full blown show. It's not a condensed version. It is the entire Broadway musical. So you'll find that you'll find live music everywhere in lounges and bars and different venues throughout the ships. Comedy clubs, you'll find those on board. You'll find magicians performing. So this is all pretty standard on cruise ships that you'll find that these you'll find themed parties like toga night, 80s night. Some cruise lines focus more on these themed nights than others, but that's really popular. And then nightlife, there's always karaoke and music and dancing. You'll always find that. And then depending what cruise line you're on, there are casinos on board. Not all cruise lines offer them. So in particular, Disney Cruise Line does not put casinos on their ships because they want to continue that family-friendly environment. So then to relax, the ships are full of pools, hot tubs, and water slides. And the water slides have grown through the years. So Royal Caribbean's Icon class ships, they have a water park level water slide available. They have right now 6 different water slides. And when I say water slide, I'm not talking about a 2-second ride. They have full blown water slides that you would find in a water park. So Royal Caribbean on their Icon class ships, they have really taken it to the next level with 6 complete water slides. It's incredible. So the Icon class, that's something that is so popular with families because kids love it. So also relaxation, a lot of these ships have full service spas, anything you could want, couples massages, thermal suites, everything is on these ships. And then also many family friendly cruise lines do designate a part of the ship as adults only. And it is an enclave for adults. It's much quieter, much more serene. It's a great way to escape the hustle and bustle of the ship, so it's fantastic. Even Disney Cruise Line, which I mentioned is very family friendly, they have spectacular adult only areas. And they really do implement that it's adult only. So kids are not welcome on these areas. So also on ships, you will find so much as far as staying active. So there is mini golf, rock climbing walls, zip lines, yoga classes, Zumba classes, complete gyms. So you will never sit sedentary if that's not what you like to do. And then lastly, we have lots of just fun activities like cooking demos, wine tastings, art auctions. There's bingo, which everyone can participate in, trivia, scavenger hunts, and then there's a lot of workshops, especially with the educational cruise lines where they bring on an expert to discuss different things. So there is something for everyone. And the best part is all of these activities, this is all included in your cruise fare. So once you step on board, you can enjoy any of these things and it's all included. So it makes it such an incredible all-inclusive style vacation where once you're on that ship, everything is paid for and you're all good to go. So some trends we're seeing, solo cabins, which I touched on earlier, adult only areas are taking off on cruise ships. Remote work packages, which we discussed, are really growing. There's themed cruises where different groups will charter an entire ship and it'll be themed. So there'll be an 80s cruise where they'll bring on different rock stars from the 80s. So it's an 80s themed cruise. So we're seeing a lot of that, and for all different kinds of interests. So themed cruises are really popular by different groups chartering entire ships. And also, we are seeing eco friendly ships being launched. And so that is a focus. And there are ports that will not allow specific ships if they do not meet their regulations for eco friendly capabilities. So that is something that these cruise ships are mindful of. So let's talk about how you plan your dream cruise. So you've decided that you're ready to try the waters and see if cruising is for you, but you don't know how to go about it. So the way to plan it is to start first with what kind of cruise are you looking for? Do you want to cruise with your family? Are you looking for a luxury vacation? Do you want an expedition style cruise? That would be the first thing to really narrow in what kind of cruise you're looking for, what your priorities are. Once you know that, then you need to decide where you'd like to go and what time of year you'd like to go. There are certain ports and destinations that are only available certain times of the year. So, for example, the Alaska, the cruising season starts in April and it ends in October. So, certain destinations you are limited by the cruising window, whereas the Caribbean, there's cruises offered year round. So, after you've decided where you want to go and when you would like to sail, then it's time to compare different cruise lines. So no matter which type of cruise you'd like to take, there'll be a few cruise lines that'll meet those marks. So it would be important to speak with a travel agent, which is the last bullet point here, to really own in on which cruise line is going to hit the marks for what you're looking for. A great travel agent will know which cruise lines have what offerings so they can help you decide exactly which cruise is going to give you what you're looking for and meet with your priorities because everyone is looking for something different. And then also important is what your budget will be. So, budget is going to be a huge factor because obviously a luxury cruise is going to differ in cost compared to those budget friendly options we talked about. So, it is important to know what kind of budget you're working with so that way your travel agent can pick the right cruise for you. So once you've decided all of this, next is when should I book a cruise? As soon as possible. Because, like I said at the start, these ships are sailing at capacity, and getting your dream cabin is very important. Some of these ships can hold 6,000 plus guests, and that's not including the crew. So, the amount of cabins on these ships is incredible. And some cabins are better than others. So, you want to pick the cabin that's best for you, especially the type of cabin. So, cruise cabins come in four styles. There's interior or inside, and these are cabins that do not have windows. Then next up the ladder is going to be an ocean view cabin, and an ocean view cabin has a window. After that, we move up to balcony. So a balcony is going to have a full balcony that you can step out onto. And now what we're also seeing cruise ships designed with your standard ocean view balcony as well as interior facing balconies. So this is something the mega ships are doing where the balcony is facing an interior part of the ship. Royal Caribbean started this trend, MSC has started it, and Disney actually is doing this now too. So after a balcony is going to be a suite. So those are essentially your four cabin categories. And so it's important to get the cabin that you're looking for. Sometimes as a travel agent, I see my clients with young kids are a little nervous to have a balcony. They're afraid that their unruly toddler is going to climb over climb on top. So sometimes families with young kids prefer ocean views just because they worry about a toddler being out on a balcony. Whereas other passengers, they want access to fresh air anytime. So for them, a balcony is a must. And then other travelers, they just want to be on the cruise because as you've seen, cruises include everything you could want. So to them, they just want to get on the ship and they don't mind where they sleep. Their cabin is just a place to sleep and they just want to get on for the lowest price. So they choose an interior cabin. So again, a cabin choice is going to be very important. It'll dictate the cost because as you move up those categories, the cost does increase. And you want to pick the perfect location because these cabins are located throughout the ship. So you want to pick the location that's right for you. Some people like being right by the elevator because they want access to go all around the ship as fast as possible. Other people prefer to be further away from the elevator because they want less foot traffic. So again, it's all about getting the right cabin that's right for you. So by booking early, you have the greatest availability to get the cabin that's right for you. And the reason I also say book as early as possible is depending on what cruise line you book, you can get a price adjustment. Most cruise lines will price adjust. So a great travel agent will keep an eye out on the cost. And if you see that the cost has dropped, it's adjusted. So you have nothing to lose because the pay in full date is not much closer, is not until much closer to the cruise. So most cruises just require a small deposit to secure it, and you don't need to pay until you're much closer. The pay in full date is determined by the length of the cruise. The longer the cruise, the earlier you need to pay it in full. But a great travel advisor will keep an eye out on these price drops and automatically adjust your balance. So you have nothing to lose because prices do tend to be lower the further out you are from the cruise. So I always say book it as soon as you know what cruise you're looking for, just book it because if the price drops, you'll get a price adjustment and you've locked in a great rate and also a great cabin. And then the benefits of a travel agent. So I did just mention in the previous slide, a great travel agent will keep an eye out on price drops. Travel agents offer so much. So for myself as a travel agent, I give all my cruise clients onboard credit. So this is a gift from me to you, and onboard credit can be used for everything on a ship. Onboard credit can be used for the spa, for shopping, for shore excursions, for photos from the ship's photographer, for alcohol, which on many cruise lines is not included, for gratuities. So onboard credit can be used for anything on the ship. And so I give this to my clients as a gift for working with me. So, onboard credit is a great reason to use a travel agent. Another great reason is expert knowledge of cruise lines, ships, and itineraries. Because the market is so saturated with cruise ships, really choosing the right one for you is going to determine how much enjoyment you get from your cruise. It's been shown that guests who work with a travel agent have a greater level of satisfaction from their cruise, and that's because they're working with someone who knows the industry and also gets to know you as a client to choose what type of cruise is right for you. Also, working with a travel agent is getting personalized service, someone you can ask your questions to, and you have a go to source who can answer your questions and also help you choose what is right based on your preferences. And then a great travel agent will also help you before, during, and after your cruise. So before your cruise, not only is there the cruise, but also a hotel stay before the cruise, because I always recommend arriving to your cruise port before the day of sailing, because with flight delays and cancellations, the ship is sailing whether you are on it or not. So I always advise to arrive at least one day early, just so you don't have to worry about any flight delays or cancellations the morning of. So getting set up with airport transfers and pre-cruise hotels is so important. And then also during the cruise and after the cruise, if any hiccups arise, a travel agent is there to help you. And then also the best one, it's a time saver because calling these cruise lines, you will sit on hold for so long. So no reason for you to sit on hold. Let your agent sit on hold for you. It's so much quicker to shoot your travel agent an email saying, "Can you just request that it's noted we're celebrating a birthday?" That will take you 5 seconds. It will take your agent much longer. So let your agent sit on hold so you don't have to. And the best part, it's completely free. There is no cost to using a travel agent. Our services are completely free to you. We are here to help you. We are compensated by the travel industry. So I get asked all the time, how can it be completely free? What is the catch? That is has to be my number one question. What is the catch? How does this not cost me anything? It's because we are compensated by the cruise lines or the hotels, whatever it is, that's how we are compensated. So there is truly no cost to you to use a travel agent. So why not? This is a service that is already included in any type of travel you book. This goes beyond just cruises. This goes for any kind of travel. There is a fee in that charge that you are seeing, and that is essentially how travel agents are paid. So when you don't use a travel agent, you are paying for a service that you are not receiving. So work with a travel agent. It's a free service to you. The travel industry has already bundled it into the price that you are seeing online. So take advantage of it. You have nothing to lose and you have an advocate to help you if anything should come up or just questions along the way. So why not? Because there's nothing for you to lose. So, does anyone have any questions that they have about cruising?
Yes, they do. Lisa, thank you so much for going through all of that between the different cruise lines, the different types, different cabin things, all of the different options that you have. And as I suspected, cruising is, much more intricate than just let's get on a ship and go someplace. So there's
Yes.
a lot of different decision points that need to be made, and we do have a couple of questions here. The
Okay, great.
first one that I will talk about is I'll call them personal issues, claustrophobia, seasickness. Do you see any of that as a deterrent for cruising, or are these ships just so big and large and you can, kind of get your, balcony
Sea
right? So
legs.
you have the, yeah, so you have the,
Yes.
anti-claustrophobia. Like,
So,
what do you talk about that?
okay, so seasickness is, I would say that's the number one reason that prevents people from trying their first cruise. So, what I will say is there are certain cabins in certain locations that really help minimize any potential seasickness. So, working with a great travel agent will get you in the right cabin to minimize that. So, that's the first thing I tell my seasickness weary clients. Also, important is there is sickness medication like Dramamine and Bonine. So those are great medicines just for anyone who is susceptible to motion sickness generally, whether it be on a flight, in a car. If you are someone that generally is susceptible to motion sickness, I highly recommend starting these motion sickness pills a few days before your cruise and just taking one each day. So that really helps. And then lastly, the larger the ship, the less likely you are to feel any motion. So I will say that from all my personal cruises, I would say 99% of the time you don't even know you're moving. These ships are gigantic. I mean, some of these mega ships, they span the length of 3, 4 football fields. They are huge and they have incredible stabilizers. So these ships are designed with state of the art stabilizers that 99% of the time you will not even know that the ship is moving. And for that 1% of the time, that's why I recommend just having those seasickness medications with you. The ship also does have them, so you can swing by the ship's doctor, and they usually give them out for free if you forget it or you suddenly realize you're more susceptible to seasickness than you thought. And then also a balcony is my top cabin recommendation for cabin type as far as minimizing seasickness, because sometimes it does help to have a view of the horizon just to steady yourself and get a breath of fresh air. And for anyone who's afraid of claustrophobia, the cruise ships, their cabin sizes do vary greatly. So if that is something that you are concerned about, let your travel agent know because they can get you set up in a larger room just so you don't feel claustrophobic because cruise cabins in general, they are smaller than a standard hotel room. That's across the board regardless what type of cruise you take. Generally speaking, a standard cruise cabin is going to be smaller than a standard hotel room.
Awesome, awesome. We do have a couple other questions, but why don't you advance the slide so if people are interested in, contacting you directly,
Sure.
asking, more direct, questions to
Yeah.
you or even planning their next vacation. Here's Lisa's contact information. You have the QR code, her phone number, email. Obviously, she's very, very knowledgeable on this. It is not going to cost you anything to have a conversation with her if you're interested in anything at all. So definitely highly encourage that. My next question here for coming in from somebody for the more party atmosphere, affordable cruise lines, is there
Yeah.
any particular time of year that's going to be better or cheaper to book if you're looking for kind of the lowest cost, but just like want to get away and party?
Yes. Okay. So lowest cost party cruise line, your best bet is going to be September. September in the Caribbean. A lot of these affordable cruise lines, you'll find the lowest fares are going to be Caribbean cruises. Generally speaking, for a destination, Caribbean cruises will have the lowest cost. And then for the Caribbean, your lowest fare is going to be found in September because it's hurricane season. So that is why it is priced that way. What I recommend is make sure you have travel insurance and enjoy, because if the cruise line sees that a storm is on track for your itinerary, they will just reroute you. So cruise lines will always tell you that your ports are subject to change based on weather, because safety is the top priority above all. So as long as you're okay with possibly visiting Cozumel instead of St. Thomas, I say book September in the Caribbean because the pricing is incredible and you'll have an amazing time. So I would say September is your best bet for affordable cruising, and the party is year round. It doesn't matter when you cruise, it's always a party on board. If that's the type of cruise you're looking for, it's always a party. It doesn't matter when you go.
Oh, awesome, awesome. The next question here is for kind of like the pre-thing. So if you have to fly to a
Yeah.
port and you want to do like a hotel stay, do you take care of all of that as well, or is that something you
Yeah.
have to coordinate separately?
Yes, no. So I will get you all set up with your hotel, with your transfers from the airport to the hotel, and then the following day from the hotel to the ship. I will get you all set up. And then for travel insurance, if you are looking to purchase it, I can help you with that too. So it is a one-stop shop.
All right, awesome. This is the last question here. If anybody else has any final questions, feel free to drop them in. But is Norwegian a good cruise line?
Depends what you're looking for. I There is no such thing as a good or a bad cruise line because everyone has a different target market. I will say Norwegian is definitely going to be a very budget-friendly option. It's going to fall into that party budget-friendly category. So if that's what you're looking for, great. If that is not what you're looking for, let's talk about another cruise line that might be better for you.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lisa, for joining us and helping to educate our clients and others on what it looks like to take a cruise. If you have any travel questions, definitely reach out to Lisa. Her contact information is there. And as always, we do these webinars on the first Wednesday of the month at noon. And so feel free to join us next month live. Look for a registration link there. David, any final from you?
No, other than to say, Lisa, I know you're really good at what you do because I'm ready to go.
All right, let's do it. Let's
Although,
get you on a
although
cruise.
I have to say, not that good for this afternoon's productivity because I'm not going to be thinking about work a whole
Yeah,
lot.
you're
But
gonna be thinking about where you're going.
exactly, no, it was great presentation. I have cruised before, and I wish I had all this information before we picked our cruise because this was a really good primer.
Great. I'm so happy to hear that.
Thank you.
Awesome, Lisa. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And Lisa, I'll leave it you. Any final you want to leave with us today?
So I look forward to helping everyone pick their dream cruise. Like I said, it is such an incredible way to travel. Doesn't matter where you want to go. There's something for everyone, for every price point. I can't recommend it enough because, like I said, I've been doing it for over 25 years and I love it. I'm already brainstorming what my next cruise is going to be. I just had a baby, so I am waiting for him to hit that 6 month mark and we're out of here. My
Nice.
husband's probably watching thinking, "Oh, no.
Get ready. Get ready.
Yeah, get ready. We're out of here as soon as he's 6 months."
All right. No, that's awesome, Lisa. Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, everyone.